I went to a school and was presenting myself like, hey, you know, I like to come in here and speak to your school.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, yeah, man, you know, they need, you know, people like you to come in there, da da da. And all of a sudden, the message he didn't respond back, and I emailed him again. He said, "Oh, I just didn't think you could pull it off."
Really?
I said, "Okay, bet." Bet.
Yeah, come
now I'm about to charge you. Now I'm about to charge you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm about to charge you.
I'm about to give you a discount, but now you getting full price.
What was crazy about it, he said, and I didn't even tell him a price, and he said, you need to go down on your price. So right now I'm like, all right, now you're just trying to belittle me in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got Sequoia Middle School coming up with the kickoff. They're starting their kickoff in August, right? 900 kids. And when I get that moment, bro, I'm going to say a principal told me that I wasn't going to be able to pull this off. So when you got your own vision, man, and you got your vision, your goal in front of you, ain't nobody else going to see it like you see it. Don't let nobody take you away from what you see and the things you want to go after, man.
But yeah, I mean, we're already rolling. Man, I'm glad you guys are here, man. Just welcome to the pod. I know we're doing a lot of pre-talk, you know, what we're doing here on the show, man. But go ahead and introduce yourselves, man, and, you know, let's get this pod going.
Man, I go by the name of Coach Cordell, original coach at Cordell Taylor. I'm a motivational speaker, certified life coach, producer of video games, cartoons. They call me the Slasher. I got my own, we got our podcast together.
Yeah.
I'm an author. My first children's book came out 2 weeks ago, starring the main character as my daughter. So anything that whoever buy the book, it goes straight to her bank account. You know what I'm
nice.
saying? So I set that up. What else we got going on, man? It's so much stuff that I am blessed, man, to be able to do and to create. And just share and be a servant to everybody else, man. So and the youth motivational speaking, just that's something that I just love. When you find your purpose, oh, it's over with.
I can already tell you gonna talk. I'm about to introduce your boy. He's sitting there waiting. I'm like, we gonna take an offering. You're like,
your turn, yeah.
I don't even want to go there.
All right, bro. We gonna take an offering, guys. Coach Cordell Cash App gonna be on the bottom of the screen. You know, altar call finna come. Yo, go introduce yourself, man. I want to get into this too.
Well, I'm Angelo. I'm Coach Cordell's brother-in-law. And I'm just, I'm along for the ride. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm glad you're still here to be able to do this, man. It's an amazing. I'm just looking around, just taking everything in. But yeah, man, I'm just,
Oh, he finna preach too.
no,
let's go.
No, man. But yeah, we got a lot of things going on, right? We got a bunch of ideas that are in the works, and so we're just trying to get that ball rolling on that. I mean, he's got so many things going on, so it's one of those things. And me, basically, I'm just I just do what I do, man. I got I do.
It ain't little.
You know what I'm saying?
Speak on it.
Speak on it.
Speak on it, man.
I guess I'm just being humble, right? I guess maybe is that what it is? But nah, I got I'm doing my whole. I got a YouTube channel where I'm shooting guns and stuff like that. And I got.
You're into weaponry and all that.
Yeah. So I love to shoot, man, and I kind of just took that on probably a couple years ago, but I've always had a fascination with guns and stuff like that. So
I like that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you guys this, Coach. What do you ask people to call you, Coach?
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, CC, Coach Cordell, whatever you want to call me. I'm in your world.
All right, yeah, man. How'd you hear about the pod? Let's get into that.
So I seen Joseph Sweatpaint.
Oh yeah, shout out Joe.
Shout out Joe, man. He's a dope person. I met him at the gym. And I seen him on it, and I'm like, this production is crazy. Like, who is this Still Here podcast? So I did my research, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, he's in Fresno? I'm in the DMs quick.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro,
you know, slid in quick too, boy.
Like, Hey, I like this. I like what you're doing, man. You know what I'm saying? And you was telling me like, yeah, man, I'm having, getting guests again next month, and I'll keep you in touch, and put the word out there, and that's how we came about, man. But
thank you.
If the people don't, man, I'm telling you, this setup and it's crazy. This is on a different level, man.
That's what's up, man.
So I'm very proud and humbled that you had us on your podcast.
Yeah, I know you hit me up, and I saw you, man. Because again, I'm a guy that likes to support, man, other creators, content creators, motivation. I love supporting, man. And when I saw your work, I was like, this is definitely something I know I want to bring on, man. Because when you messaged me, I was leaving, just ending season 3, so we had shot like 11, 12 episodes prior, So this one now we already started season 4, so I got pods lined up next weekend, the following, getting ready for it, And so I had a lot of people hit me up and they're like trying to get on, And so it's, when I saw your stories, I definitely I gotta plug you in and get you in there, man. And so, I mean, let's kind of go from there, When it came to you hit me up, told me your story, sent me your bio. Now let's get into that. Let's get into what you guys do together, and really, I have this saying, man. I like to tell the story behind the glory.
Right.
Everybody only sees the exterior, So, but there's something that led up to that to be where you're at. So let's get to know you guys.
So for me, and this guy, when you're around somebody and you see the journey of that person, right, and you can tell, like, you see a person acting the type of way, you be like, oh, this ain't really him.
Yeah.
And what I put out there to the world is so authentic, where it's like I gave my story in a way where, like, you can't say nothing bad about me, because I done told everything that's saying bad about myself.
Yeah.
And as I grew, I told the story. What is it? 20? When did I do it? I shot a video in LA. It was 2021, I think it was. And that's the first time I released and told people my childhood story. And when I released it, I felt like a whole bunch of pressure just got off my shoulders, man.
Come on.
And just tell people, like, I was the kid that watched his mom go through drug addictions, abusive relationships. I used to see my stepfather put his hands on my mother more than I ever seen him give her a hug and tell her I love her. I lived in homeless shelters with my mom. It's like a kid. I got taken away from my mom in, like, I think the 5th grade. My real father came back, and he lived 4 hours away from us, and he took me shopping. I'll never forget this moment. He took me shopping, and we didn't have a lot of money, man. We was just just living, what I'm saying, with them sets from Family Dollars. You know how you get them 2 sets that you wear. We was living like that. I remember my dad came and take me shopping, and it was buying me shoes, and I was so excited to go back to school, right? And be like, oh man, I'm about to show out. I got new clothes, I got new shoes. And we pulled up to the house that me and my mom was staying at, and he asked me, he said, son, do you want to come live with me? And I remember all the excitement just flew out, and I just dropped my head. And I said, yeah, but I don't want to go back and see my mom. And he was like, okay, I'll go get your stuff, and then we can just leave. And I remember he got back into the car, and we was leaving, and I looked up into the window, and I see my mom bawling. So that was the last time I ever stayed under the same roof as my mom, and that was 5th grade. And so I just watched her go through. She went through a spiral of just drug addictions. So my whole life, I just had a father. And right away, it felt like as a son, your first love is your mother. And that was stripped from me. Right. And as I was growing up, I was fighting. I was basically talking to a whole bunch of girls, because at that moment I was like, man, what is love?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What is love for me? And I remember I graduated high school. My mom came down, and I said, Mom, can you please go get help? Like, can you please go get help? And she went into, it was like a spiritual retreat, like a recovery center. And it was like in a small little town in Iowa. I'm from Iowa, by the way. So it was a small little town in Iowa. And she stayed there. Now she's 17 years clean, man.
Nice.
We moved to California, what, 8 years ago?
Yes.
About 8 years ago. She moved right after us, 7 years ago. Amen. So now she's back in my life and my kids' life and my sister's life. So my story of just growing up and like I'm missing so many different aspects of my story, but just showing where I grew up and where I'm at now is it's like I should have been a statistic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's for jail, drugs, or in jail or dead. I should have been a statistic, but God didn't let me go there, dude. I tried to sell the drugs. I tried to go to gangs and stuff. He wouldn't. It's just like, nah, let's get back. You a leader, bro.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think, because I'm listening to your story. I have the same exact story. Me and my siblings, man, dealt with that, because I'm originally from Seattle, Washington.
Okay.
Yakima, I'm Native American, and the res life is crazy, man. It's crazy. And, similarities, man. My mom, unfortunately, she passed away 2003 or 4, and she was beat to death.
Wow.
By her boyfriend. But she lived the same drug life, prostitute life. Me and my brother at times would go beat up her pimps and fight. We're 13, 14-year-old boys, man, beating up grown men, trying to at least get our mom back, And so to hear your story, I think that's why I love my brand. I love what we do here, man. Because again, God, like you said, man, you're still here, man.
Facts.
And it gets more than just like a cliche or a saying, man, because a lot of people don't realize when they actually sit down and talk and put on these type of platforms, it's like, dang, man, I'm still here, bro. Right, it's like, and to hear that, can 100% relate.
Yeah.
I know those feelings,
man.
like you're going to school and you think you're like, I got new clothes, and then the trauma of getting made fun of. It's like, bro, you got some cheap
right, yeah.
And grew up poor. I didn't really have I didn't even have my first bed until I was maybe 18, 19 years old. We slept on the floor. We thought beds for me and my siblings, like we got a brand new sleeping bag. And so it's like, to see where God has brought us from and to hear your story, man. I mean, it obviously makes sense, for you to be, a coach, motivational speaker, somebody that's talking about the story. Again, only people see the exterior. So the story behind the glory, man, is what resonates for me. I see the success, it's obvious. I don't pay attention to the obvious. I want to know what the growth was.
Right.
And so what about you, man? How'd you guys like connect, kind of really what's your story, man?
Well, this is my brother-in-law, right? And so he's been in my life over 20 something years, and first of all, I want to thank both of y'all for, putting your stories out there because it helps so many people, kind of had some of the same struggles growing up in the household that I was brought up in. But even though there was turmoil happening, things were going on, I just look at it now, and I'm just coming into all this information, right? Just being, putting myself in these spaces where, you don't have to be what these stigmas that people put on you or your environment that you grew up in. You don't have to be that. It's all in how you look at things, right? Like, so instead of saying, man, this happened to me, look at it as this happened for me, right? And that creates growth in a person.
That's hard to do sometimes.
It is. It really is.
In the moment, you're like, you want to lash, there's other alternatives that your feelings push you to. It's not like, and you name one person that probably is like the hardest time of their life, and they're like, I'm doing this now, I'm facing it for what? No, it's just hard. It's almost near impossible, And I like that, but I like that how you're teaching that, especially to our young men in this generation, these young boys that need guidance, that didn't have the easiest of childhoods.
Right.
So how'd you find, like, you said, just in your struggle, how'd you find your purpose? How'd you push past like the pain of it?
Well, I mean, you talk about purpose. That's something I'm still trying to figure out to an extent.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay. Man, y'all look good, bro.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. How old are you?
35.
Was that? Yeah, y'all look good. What's that say? What's that say? My buddy.
Black no crack?
Yeah, I was saying my buddy. was like, all these young men, black don't crack, bro.
You know what's funny? I just said I was 43. I'm actually 44, man. I see how that.
Okay. Yeah, we're ahead in the future. When's your birthday?
I'll be 45 in June next month.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm 42, man.
Okay.
You know, so.
Good for you.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to brown don't fade. I don't know. You know, but I love that. You know, because again, the story. Because I look at my brother, because I have an older brother, me, and I have two little sisters. You know, we grew up like east side of Fresno. I grew up on the west side a lot. You know, that's just where I was raised too. So we were in the west side for a while, then we moved to east. A little bit. I don't know if it's east, like Fresno High. You know, we lived near Fresno High, so I went to high school, and you know, and I knew how important it was to have a father around, man. But he was always working. My dad straight up Oaxacan Mexican culture, man. Just always gone. Then my mom would just, man, it was non-existent. You know, it's just we're raising ourselves. You know, like you said, you're still trying to find your purpose. Where do you feel like? You know, what do you mean by that? Like, what do you feel like you're direct? Because even at our age, we're still like, nah, man, we're still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
You know, I watched that Conor McGregor documentary.
I did too.
Yo, he's like, man, the moment you stop learning is the moment you start losing.
Yeah.
You know, so you're still learning.
That's what it is, man. It's all about just, you know, that journey, you know, and I think that you just gotta breathe in that prana and just let out and allow God, you know, to show you the way, you know what I'm saying? And don't push against that. And so I think that just my everyday is, in a sense, my purpose, you know, whatever I'm doing in the moment is my purpose. But I feel like there's something, it has to be something that's pinpointed, right? And so like, you know, doing the YouTube channel and then the TikTok and just putting out positive messages for people, I feel like that's part of it. But I'm still, you know, like I said, I'm still just trying to figure this whole thing out and then just get in my groove, you know, and then.
Are you comfortable with doing stuff like this or trying to put yourself out there?
I'm not, you know, and I learned you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I was just talking to my wife about is it John Goggins and he was talking about how David Goggins, and he was talking about when he was running, you know, and his toes and stuff were blistering and cracking and getting bloody and stuff like that, and he just powered through. Well, for me, like one of my biggest fears is being in front of cameras, you know. But I put myself in these situations to overcome that fear, right? And so that to me is just like that. That's what it feels like. It feels like my toes and everything are just cracking and blood coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the torture that I'm putting myself through to become the best version of myself that I can be.
Now, are you guys believers? You guys Christian church? You guys do you do that? Because you're speaking.
I'm very spiritual. I'm not a religion person. I'm not very religious. I'm very spiritual because the way I grew up was kind of you know how, you know, our culture, you're kind of at church all the time, but you're not really understanding, right? And once I got older and started really doing my own study, and you know, figuring out and asking questions, me and my dad, thank God my dad's still alive, 70, 76, 77 years old.
Nice.
And me and him, we go over scriptures every morning, our daily bread. And then he asks me what I think of it, and I ask him what he think of it. And we have two different point of views of it. And before, he never used to, because I don't just let a pastor or anybody just say something, right? I'm like, okay, yeah, amen. Yeah. I want to know why you said that. And really break it down to me why, you know what I'm saying? Like, so me and my dad, we usually go back and forth, but now he's understanding the bigger picture because like our older generation, when it comes to the church and they hear something and be like, that's how it's supposed to be, instead of asking any questions.
Like what? Give me an example.
Tithes. So tithing. When you look at tithing, it's not about money, just as money. It's time. It's what you do outside the church, outside the building. The church, we are the people. The church is the people. So outside the building, my mom, she had a hard time with tithing. Like she's you be completely broke, but you make sure you tithing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, God wouldn't want you to put yourself in a situation where you won't be able to pay this bill to pay this church. And COVID happened, and a lot of churches got exposed just by not, you know what I'm saying? Like
I agree.
Some churches was out there. You supposed to be out here in these streets taking care of our people. But you back there steady trying to
getting that PPA loan.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So that right there was like little thing like tithing and like my wife, she's born was a Catholic, and like her grandmother really believed in you have to suffer, right? You have to suffer to be able to go to heaven. Like I don't believe in that. Like God don't want you to be down here just suffering. You know what I'm saying? So like certain little things like that where I kind of start studying my own a little bit and trying to get that relationship I want with God, not with just what a pastor's telling me. He's a man just like I'm a man. I'm not, but you're not. We're all on the same level. The only person that's on a higher level is the one upstairs. You know
well, I'm with you on that. You know, hearing what you're saying, man, I come from that same background. And, you know, even though my lifestyle the way it was, you know, my dad always still brought us to church. You know, I was born, raised Christian. You know, I'm the one that messed my life up. I'm the one that put myself in situations I shouldn't have been. You know, and I think about that too, because, you know, I think today's culture and today, you know, even in my generation growing up, you know, ours, you know, church has really drop the ball on a lot of things. You know, they really have these pastors, these men.
Facts.
You know, but it's not so much why would God allow us, you know, to struggle. You know, I look at it this way, you know, because, you know, if this pod is going to go that direction, it can, man. And we can just still talk about it because I can record legit 300 hours on this podcast.
Let's go.
You know, I think we can break the record, man. But the reality I feel like is that we misconstrued our experiences in churches and pastors, and we try to bring God to that level. Like you said, he's on a different level.
Yeah.
But these pastors try to, you know, exalt themselves to that hierarchy. Thanks. You know, and I've learned to let go of that, man, because I now my message is, man, don't experience church, don't experience a pastor, man, experience Jesus. That's it. Once you experience him, everything else will make sense.
Right.
Whether whether churches are biblically based or a pastor kind of goes on his tangent, right or left, whatever platform he stands on. You know, I'm very, like you said, I even said before this, we're very traditional family, man. We're old school, bro. And you know, and you guys just met my kids, and they're just really like, you know, attentive. They're not this generation where it's just, you know, they don't care. Phones, yeah, you know, and so, and I think once you experience Jesus, you experience him, you know, everything else makes sense, you know, because we are supposed to suffer. You know, we are. Things aren't supposed to be easy. You know, everyone's like, well, why would God allow, you know, someone to get cancer, a 2-year-old little kid? You know, why would God? It's not that he's allowing it. It's just this is the world we live in, man. Freedom of choice, free will. You know, and I want to break it down this way. Biblically, from the Old Testament, you know, they were subject under the law. Mm-hmm. The law said this. I was just talking about it this morning with my kids, because my kids want to get baptized this Sunday. You know, they want to dedicate their lives, you know, to Christ. And when you die to, you know, when you know, like sacrificial lamb, the tithe. It's funny that we're talking about this because we were just talking about this morning. You know, you bring your best to God, your sacrifice. Yeah. You know, and to atone for your sins, you have to sacrifice the best goat, the best bull. So you guys know this story, you know. So God is like, all right, I'm gonna send my son to die on the cross, so you don't have to pay that price. Yeah. You know, because back then we get caught in any type of law, you're put to death. You know, and the Bible says, you know, the 10 Commandments. You know, so it's not a matter of like, hey man, if you broke the law, dead, black and white. It was that. Yeah. So he knows that we can't live by that standard because we'd be dead, man. This whole world would be unworthy. So the reason why you know, Christ came to die for us, man, because he knows we're still going to be making mistakes. You know, he still knows we're going to fall short. So, but because we have that mercy and that grace in him, we can go to him knowing, look, man, you paid the price. You know, that's free will. You know, what kind of father would I be if I made my kids do things? That's not love, that's fear. You know, so he gives us that choice to make the mistake. He gives us that choice to follow whatever we want, because I do believe there's a day he will come back and he will then judge. Yeah. But he's like, I let you guys live your life. I didn't intervene. whether it was good or bad. I blessed you. I took care of you. You know, I believe that, you know. So when I hear that, you know, I hear like a church hurt. I hear an experience that, you know, it's like, oh, it's a trigger, you know, something, you know, because I've been there. You know, God's reconciling a lot of personal things in my life right now, man, with other pastors that hurt me, burned me, locally, deacons, all these people that want the money. That, you know, it's like, man, I see what you're driving a Bentley, boy. You know, it's like, I'm not about that. I don't support that, you know. And I think hearing you guys is, you know, to bring it back full circle, man, it's like, I love how you guys are speaking from the experience. You know, I feel like the experience, you know, when it's built you to who you are, you know, you can relate to a lot of young people, man, a lot of adults too, man, our peers.
Yeah.
You know, where do you feel like your guys is, you know, what's your main focus? Because I was looking, let's look at 3-Shot Lord. Let's go to their website. Because I want to talk about you, Coach. I want to, you know, he says, you are meant to be here, aspiring the youth to find their true potential and to make a difference. Plus, that's a nice shot of you too, by the way. Look at that. You know, you're meant to be here. You know, what's your message to those guys, to those people, or those young people that feel like they're not?
So when I go into a school, and I asked them this first question, I said, "What separates us? Everybody in this room, everybody in Fresno, and everybody in the world. There's 8 billion people in this world, and there's one thing that separates us." And nobody ever get this. Probably 3 kids out of all the schools I've been, 3 kids know the answer. And it's the fingerprint, right? So if you really break that down, out of 8 billion people in the world, you have your own fingerprint. You can't tell me you're not meant to be here. You're here for something.
Come on.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like that's my message to these kids. Like, you're not supposed to be like your father, your mother, your uncle, your cousin.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be you. Your whole life right now should be trying to figure out who I am as that person, right? As this person right here. And I think it's very important when we're right here right now. We're meant to be here, right? We're right here at this moment. We're meant to be here. So it's like, it's a kind of you can read that and be like, you know what? I am meant to be here, but let me find out why I'm here. Let me find out what my purpose is here. You know, so let me find out what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. You know, so it's like God gave us these gifts and talents, but the only way we can find out what they are if we be ourselves. We find out who we are. So that's why that big message, you are meant to be here, is because I want them to know, like, this is no game, man.
Yeah.
It's real to me. It's real.
What has been like the impact and the you know, like really the testimonials of it, you know, what have you seen?
Testimonials is just like giving these kids. So for me, I go in there and give them information that I wish I had when I was their age. And so as me growing as a father, as a person, as a man, as a mentor, as a leader, I'm learning. I'm still getting this knowledge where I'm like, dang, if I would have had this at a younger age, I would have been killing a whole different, like, the power of our words, right? Like, how many people talk down on themselves and just talk negative all the time, and how really, you know, that's really doing something to us internally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I brought up that experience with the flower, right? They had 2 flowers. One flower, they was getting the same water and everything, sunlight and everything, right? And they was on the same shelf, and the classroom was talking positive to this one and talking negative to the other plant.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the plant just died. The negative plant died. So if that can do that to a plant, what do you think that can do to a human?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So like the power of our words and thinking, like when it comes to failure. Yeah. Right? They said if you don't fail, you ain't trying. Yep. You know, we got to switch the lingo of fail. Oh, I don't want to do this because I might fail. Do it so you can fail, you know, so you can learn from that. Yep. So we got to switch that in our heads as a young kid. It's okay to fail. I know you're trying, you know what I'm saying? And we talk about the power of now. So the testimonials, man, when it comes to how I bring it like I'm talking to you right now. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a principal. I'm a person that really cares about y'all, your future growing up. And so the power of me now, I talk about now, the time is now. And I want to shout out my best friend, Rico Morrow. His birthday is Tuesday. And last July 3rd, I was on FaceTime with him. And I was talking to him. And I'm like, bro, I'll see you next week. It was a Saturday. I'll see you next week, bro. We about to turn up. I'm coming back to Iowa. Boom, hung up the phone. Sunday, I text him like, hey, you should come down Friday instead of waiting until Saturday. And I'm coming from LA. I just dropped my family off at the airport. And the message didn't go through. So as soon as I pull back up in Fresno, I get a phone call. And his sister was FaceTiming me. And she said, hey, bro, I need to tell you something. I'm like, what's up? She's like, I think our brother drowned. I'm like, what you mean? I just talked to him less than 24 hours ago. She said, we can't find his body. And I'm like, all right, let me call you back. So I called them, called my sister, called my wife, like, hey, they can't find Rico. So I jump on I'll go to their house. So they bring me to their house and sitting at the table, I'm looking for plane tickets, bro. The plane tickets is out of this world. Leaving from Fresno, and all the sides put the everything I love. I pressed the refresh, and this cheap ticket popped up. Bought the ticket. I flew in Monday, right? As I'm walking through Dallas Airport, and I'm going to my next flight, this cop stopped me, right? He said, hey, can you come here real quick? Out of all these people in the airport, he said, can you come here real quick? I'm like, man, what this dude want, dude? Like, all my antennas up. Like, man, come on, man. He was like, can you take your glasses off? I'm like, yeah, I took them down. He said, I want to tell you that you are covered. I want you to know you got a lot of prayers behind you, and you are covered. He said, when you was walking down that aisle, I just seen oral, right? He was like, I never seen that before. He was like, I just want you to know, whatever you going to do, you're covered. And at that moment, I'm like, man, he was like, can I pray with you? And then he did a little prayer. He was like, just remember, dude, you're okay. Like, you got people behind you. I get on that flight, and I'm like, man, what is he telling me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I land. It was Monday. I'm walking on this bank. I still got the shoes with the mud on there. I bring it to the school so the kids can see. These shoes I had Vans on, like this gray ones, and I'm walking in the mud on the bank, calling his name, Rico. Till 11 o'clock at night. Police is like, hey, we gotta wrap it up. We'll come tomorrow with the cadaver dogs. So that was Tuesday. They came at 5:30 in the morning. At 6 o'clock, they found his body down the street. So at that moment, everything I do is right now. Like, we're not, tomorrow's not promised to nobody. And so I tell them that story where I'm like, you don't have time to be speaking negative on yourself to others. You don't got time to be hanging around with a crew that's not going to level you up, that keep pulling you back. You know what I'm saying? You don't got time to just, that time for me is different, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that was my boy. Like, that was a brother to me that I talk to every day. I still can't, it's almost a year. July 4th, it'd be a year. And it still don't feel real to me that he's gone. You know what I'm saying? And that right there was, when I talk about that, so many kids afterwards come up to me. Man, I know what you said. Like, hey, thank you for coming here and saying what you telling your story, because I struggle at home right now. You know what I'm saying? I was like, promise me.
Yeah.
Just promise me you'll keep going. Just promise me that, man. So I'll always get the quiet kids, right? The ones that you don't think is paying attention. When you're done, they come up afterwards and tell you their story, man. And every time I'm done with one, I call them like, hey, dude, I'm hyped right now. You know what I'm saying? This is how I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So the testimonials is crazy. Teachers, they be like, oh my gosh, man.
They probably just like,
thank you. Thank you for coming. You know what I'm saying? And I literally started this during COVID, man. All right.
You know, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
So COVID hit, and I was like, how can I get myself out there? And that's when I came up with the cartoon and sent affirmations. Came up with the whole cartoon character and made him do affirmations in the morning, and I started sending them to schools. So that's how I started. Everything started clicking for me.
Man, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to that, man. Again, you know, I think that's one of the main, you know, focal of this whole pod, man, is that's, life happens, man, when you're not ready for it. One of my buddies, man, always told me, he tells his family, stay ready so they have to get ready. Hear everything, man, your mind, your heart, your emotions. And I think where this this generation lacks in that, man, is just everything's fast.
Yeah.
You need a 3-4 second video to hit you. If it don't hit you, moving on, the attention, to detail and the attention span, it's not there no more.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like, because we were raised, because I've had, a lot of motivational speakers come speak to us, at my school, at my church when I was in youth groups, and it's like, I could pay attention, but this generation now, it's hard to talk to.
Right.
And to hear that they're receiving that, man, where do you see a struggle sometimes? Like, do you think, oh man, this ain't my day?
So honestly, I had a school. I think it's all about how I come in, right? Mm-hmm. And I was struggling with how do I need to start, right? And I had this school. I can't remember what school it was. And the way they was acting was like very disrespectful to the teacher. So they already put me in a different mindset how I'm gonna come to these kids about certain things. And the way that was one place where I left and was like, I don't think, what I'm saying, I did a good job. But the teacher came up and was like, thank you for coming in, and was giving me props. But I know what I can bring to that table.
Yeah.
So in certain situations where, and thank God, man, I've been in some places over on West Side, Fresno. I'm coming in there, they cussing at the teacher, I had that, you could hear a mouse in that room. You know what I'm saying? That's how, and the more experience I've been getting, I used to feel a type of way when a kid got their head down, right? But then I was like, okay, it's 30, 40, 50 other kids in this room. If I won't be able to touch all of them, but I can touch one. You know what I'm saying? So then when you get that in your mindset, it's like somebody's going to relate to one of these stories I'm telling, and I'm giving you I'm not giving you a credential. I'm not giving you A, B, C, 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I'm giving you real life stuff that you're going to go through. You know what I'm saying? And you can take it. And I said, I promise you, when y'all leave here, you're gonna go through life like, oh, I remember Coach told me that.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I had them points where it's like, dang, I reached none of these kids, but it's some points where it's like, okay,
yeah.
But it is the age where they want transparency, man. They want real.
Yeah.
You feel me? So it's like, if I'm coming in there with a suit, this is how I come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I come like myself. If I come in there with a suit and tie, you're losing them.
Yeah, I agree. I worked with this one group. I won't say nothing, man, because they kind of do the same thing. And their message is, the better version of yourself. If you want to be rich like me, then you got to work hard. It's like, that's not relatable to me.
No.
Because at one point too, I was a youth pastor. I had, I reached a lot of students, connected with a lot, went to the schools, and I just like you and me, I went just like them.
Right.
I got to be approachable.
Yeah.
I can't look like, I'm floss dripped out or just, it's like these guys get intimidated by that, especially these young men that are from the streets, man, from the hood. It's like they can't relate to that, you know. I love that how you do that, man, because a lot of these guys, man, aren't aware.
Yeah.
They just, I think today's culture too, man, they just want to go viral. They want that moment to blow up. My goal here, like I posted a story today. It's like, look, I don't care about the viral. I don't care. I want to tell this story.
Yeah.
Because this story is local. A lot of people need to know about this.
Facts.
Support this.
Yeah.
I can be like everybody. I can be like, any podcast out there just trying to blow up, but that doesn't do nothing for me.
No.
When I sit here and it's like, I got my wifey here, shout out wifey. I got my daughter here.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I ain't trying to be cool, man. I've said this 1,000 times. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm just trying to relate.
Yeah.
I'm trying to connect. I'm trying to have that foundational, with people that, it's like, hey man, I'm just like you. I ain't no better than you.
Right.
Let's go through this together, and I love that message about you, man, because any student that comes into that, man, they're already defensive. They're waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting. I'm gonna swing on them.
Right,
and
kids are one of the hardest ones to speak to.
Yeah.
Like adults easy because adults going through, they say that they got a whole, man, what I got to do when I get home? You know what I'm saying? But these kids, like, if you can connect with these kids, you're in that right space, man.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been learning, and that's how I know it comes so natural for me, man. And that's how I figure out that's my purpose as a coach. I'm the kids, like I coach football and track at Clovis North in Granite Ridge.
Okay.
I coach at Clovis West a little 3rd and 4th. I've been coaching for a long time, right? And the kids always over by me. Like they want to be with Coach Cordell. So when I kind of figured that out and was like, okay, these kids gravitate towards me. Let me go and really take my, the gift that I have and speak life into these kids. We were just talking about the other day. I was like, have you ever seen a teacher they just put an F on a paper? And I was like, what if a teacher put an F on a paper and put a note on the side of it? Like, this doesn't define you. Like, this is, you know what I'm saying? This F doesn't define you. This is just a learning moment for you.
Yeah.
Keep going. When do you see that?
You don't see that. Dude, I get F's and my teachers cussing me out, bro.
Right,
when I was in high school, I was that, but I deserved it. I was one of those kids that pushed the button, you know. I pushed the envelope. But yeah, that's actually a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like things like that where the kid look at that and be like, oh man, I can do this next time. You know what I'm saying? I get a D. You know what I'm saying? Let me try and get a D. Yeah. My teacher believed in me.
Yeah.
And then we was talking about the touch, that we call it touch points, right? When you go through a whole school, I got this from my sister. Said one of the doctors asked the kid, "What's her favorite subject in school?" She said lunch, right? And it hit me.
I'm with you on that.
At that lunch lady, think about this though. As that lunch lady, you get to see that kid. You might be giving that kid that last meal of the day. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, okay, when she see you, bring excitement for her. Like, oh, I can't wait to see you. Want something extra? Because this girl might not get to eat no more.
Yo.
And that's the kids we're dealing with right now, man. You know what I'm saying? So letting everybody have an awareness of the touch point that you have with these kids, man, is very important.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing you, and I got reminded of what you said. You know, it's like, you know, when you said about, you know, God doesn't want us to suffer. It's not that he wants us to, but I think he allows it to, man, because again, man, without any suffering, without any pain, you know, without the struggle, there's no story. There's
Facts.
no,
yeah.
You know, so it's not whether he wants us to, man. It's just, that's just life. Life's not fair.
Right.
You know, one thing I teach, you know, my wife, when we got married, and I've always had this persona, man. I'm like, I was defensive too, man. You know, alert. I'm always on a swivel, right? Anyway, anybody come at me, look at me different, I respond, you know, and then just very defensive, you know, and I'm aware of my expressions because she always said I look mad all the time, you know, it's like, and I'm not, you know, so it's one thing I love how you say that because we don't know these teachers now, man. I don't blame them if they're just like, I'm just here for a paycheck.
Right.
You know, and this generation too, man, they don't have guidance.
They don't
have
you got
stability.
Kids having kids, man.
Yep, and they don't have stability at home, foundational, and you know, it's one of these things where I hear, like, I love hearing that, man, because you know, here you got an F, but don't let this F define you. Now, it's a learning moment, man. If teachers can grasp that concept, man, this generation can just change, man, especially the up and coming. And I'm scared for this I'm scared for this generation now, man. I'm like, my kids, our kids, we're teaching them to lead.
Gotcha.
That's it. They're leaders, man.
Gotcha.
You know, they're not easily influenced.
Yeah.
You know, we made the hardest decision, man, to homeschool them. And they still want to be homeschooled. We asked if they want to go public school. They're like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
You know, it's 3-4 o'clock. We're driving out and about, and they see kids walking home, and they're like, yeah, we got done at 11. We're good.
They don't have that FOMO.
Yeah, so there ain't fear of missing out, you know. But it's one of these things where it's like we're teaching, you know, that generation of leadership with our kids. And, you know, and the best leader, I believe, man, you know, it's my personal experience, especially working in ministry, man, you lead from the back.
Fact.
Because you oversee it, man. You know, because I like to have students, you know, when I had a bunch of students, man, there were three Mexican kids, boy. These guys, man. One was 7th grade, got put in juvenile hall, man, for selling crack. And he was never, ever to be released out of that. Or he was going to juvenile hall school. here in town, in Fresno. And I talked to his PO. He's like, yeah, he's stuck. He's going to be here until he, ages out. So he was in my ministry for about a year, him and his cousins. And a year later, this kid, man, 8th grade, was allowed to go back to middle school, public school. And he came to me a year later. He's like, hey, dude, I need to talk to you. And I thought I was in trouble. And was like, hey, we need to talk, like principal and all that. And so he's like, what are you guys doing down there? I was like, we're just having fun, man, just connecting with these guys. He said, well, whatever you're doing, man, keep doing it. He's like, because this kid was never supposed to be allowed. His life's changed. And so he graduated. He went through high school, graduated, man. And you got to teach these young men that need coaches like you guys, man, to connect, man, to relate. And this generation doesn't have that foundation. Now, let me ask you guys this, and both of you guys kind of, have your input on that, is what is this generation missing? What's the problem? Because we get baited into, status in life, culture war, race war, all this stuff. Where's the problem start? And where do you guys see in your experience that, how do we fix that problem? What's the real problem? Especially for young men to grow up as young men, as men. I mean, that's a deep question.
Yeah. So I'll go and then I'll let you go. What I'm seeing is in the home. I'm seeing that they're searching for attention. Mm-hmm. That they're not getting at home. Mm. I coach at Clovis, right? Clovis North. That's probably one of the most wealthiest schools that you can have, right? And then I come to Fresno Unified and speak to them kids there. And I remember sitting down with one of the Clovis North graduates. He's like, what's the difference between us and them over there? I said, they're survivor mode all the time. And you guys have it, like you guys got the knowledge already. You got, you know what I'm saying? It's different. Like they're surviving. They got to survive every single day over there. And you guys just got the knowledge for you to have. And he's like, dang, I never looked at it like that. But yes, their parents got all this money, but they're not getting the attention. The girls is not getting attention from their father. Bro, if I tell you, like, the way these girls come to me at the track meet, just telling me about their stories, how dude's doing this to them, why they doing all this, I'm like, bro, you got a dad, but he's not there.
Yep.
So it starts in the house first, man. Mm-hmm. And everything else, when your kids leave that house, they know how to act and, you know what I'm saying, in public and respect certain people, elders and stuff. But if you don't have that structure in home, and you expect the teachers and the principals and us to do something about it, no, it starts with the parents. Mm-hmm. It starts with whoever got that kid, the grandparents, whoever got that kid at the house. It starts with you first.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real, because you said something earlier that got my attention. It's like, when you got married, you didn't know how to love a woman. Nope. Your mom, we got married, we've been married, celebrated 18 years of marriage, and just 7 years ago, I decided to mature up in my marriage. 36 years old. And I didn't know how, because my dad went through like 5-6 divorces, women in and out of his life. I saw my buddies, their uncles treat women. I thought that's just how you treat women, and I didn't know how. You're right. If you don't get that tension, man, and a lot of kids aren't fortunate to have that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what, yep.
So how do you teach somebody who hasn't had it, doesn't know the difference in right or wrong? That's just the way I was raised. What do you feel like you would? What's the answer to that?
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off what Bro said about just having structure in the home. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were talking about this not too long ago about kids that end up dropping out of school. My son, like he was kind of rambunctious when he was little, and I remember the teachers were saying that he was kind of acting out, and I was like, man, there's no way he's doing the stuff that you guys are saying he's doing, right? And so he comes home, and I kind of observe his behavior, right? And I'm just watching him, and I'm like, he can't be still. Uh-huh. He's just constantly moving around and stuff like that. But at home, you're not required to sit still and pay attention for long periods at a time. Mm-hmm. And so when you go when you go to school, the dichotomy between what's going on at home and what's going on at school are two completely different things. Yeah. And so they go to school, they're getting in trouble, and then it's like, man, I'd rather be at home. And that's how you end up having these high school dropouts. Mm. And so I'll kind of simplify it. It's just these kids need love, compassion, and we got to teach them how to be mindful, be aware of the things that, that's going on in their lives, how they treat people, what's coming out of their mouths, and how they deal with people that, treat them a certain way, right? Yeah. I think that's just pretty much in summation, that's what it is, just love and compassion and having the time for these children, right? Just being there for them,
Yeah, you're right. Again, it's you hear it all the time, man. But it's a huge self-awareness,
man.
And how do you teach self-awareness if they're not willing to be aware of what they are and who they are? Because again, it's hard to see past the situation.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, like, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? It's like you can't see that far. So, and one thing I think I've learned growing up was, or at least I've always told myself is like, I guess I'm supposed to be like this. I guess it's supposed to be like this. I'm going to end up like this, The things I've always tried to avoid, growing up, alcoholism, my family, especially that native culture, man, just drug addicts, alcoholism. I told myself growing up, I'll never drink. Because I do a lot of content creating too, man, and I worked with the local breweries here in town, and by no means of them, but my self-discipline in that is I just went heavy drinking, man. I never drank a beer in my life until I started working with these guys and got into craft beers. And one day I went in too much and came home, and my son got the worst end of it. You talk about the verbal abuse, the mental, man, the emotional. And I'm looking at myself from like the first person view. It was like, what are you doing? 10 years old and you're tearing them down. And I'm drunk. I'm like, I can't stop myself. And so my son looks at me and he's like, Dad, I know this is not you and it's okay. And I still love you. And that, like, since then, man, that's when I had to start maturing. He's 14. So this happened about 4 years ago. So again, to be self-aware, man, you can't teach that.
You can't teach.
You have to experience a life, man. You have to either choose your path or you let life choose it for you, man, because you're not self-aware. It's like, I love your message, motivate. You're supposed to be here. It's like, but you're not just here to exist. You're here to create. You're here to live. You're here to inspire. Yeah, man. I love that about your message, and when you said you started your motivational, is because it's your business, right? Everything, people, when you started that, man, did you expect it to be where it's at today?
I did.
Ooh, I like that.
And man, because I know the work and how much the care and the love I put behind it, and it's still growing as we speak now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nowhere near where it's gonna be. So when I come back next year, we talk about it, you're like, dang, bro. You know what I'm saying?
We setting it up. My boy's already speaking it.
Next year, we're like, dang, bro, you doing this now. But I just want to tell people, nobody else is going to see that same vision that you have, right? And my vision is so deep and it's so tense where I know where I'm going, bro. Like, I just got to stay in my lane. It's so many different motivational speakers out here, right? And I have so many different other things where the video game, I got a motivational video game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what other I got a cartoon character. I got a cartoon book. I got a kid's book. So I'm doing it for the youth, bro.
Yeah. Is this on your website?
This is the game is on the website.
Go to keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Let's go to one.
So when it comes to, we got a store, we got the clothing brand.
Go to channel 1, Lord.
So you go to the store.
Oh yeah, keep talking. We can hear you.
And so we got
oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's the little video game we got out, man. So it's when you die on there, it says keep going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It gives you little motivational quotes around it, and what I see, man, I had this
$3.
Huh?
No, Lord, go $3. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had this principal tell me, man, I went to a school and was presenting myself like, hey, I like to come in here and speak to your school.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, yeah, man, they need, people like you to come in there, da da da. And all of a sudden, the message he didn't respond back, and I emailed him again. He said, Oh, I just didn't think you could pull it off.
Really?
I said, okay, bet. Bet.
Yo, come
now I'm about to charge you. Now I'm about to charge you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I'm about to charge you.
I'm about to give you a discount, but now you getting full price.
What was crazy about it, he said, and I didn't even tell him a price. And he said, you need to go down on your price. So right now I'm like, oh, now you're just trying to belittle me in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got Sequoia Middle School coming up with the kickoff. They're starting their kickoff in August, right? 900 kids. And when I get that moment, bro, I'm gonna say a principal told me that I wasn't gonna be able to pull this off. So when you got your own vision, man, and you got your vision, your goal in front of you, ain't nobody else gonna see it like you see it. Don't let nobody take you away from what you see and the things you want to go after, man.
Let's go.
So that's for me. It's like, yes, I see it growing way bigger than what it is now. I'm just starting, bro.
That's what's up.
I'm just literally starting.
Yeah, I like that. Reminds me of was it Pursuit of Happiness or Will Smith?
Yeah, man.
This is pre-slap.
Yeah,
you know, because I was a big fan of him. You know, but he's like in the scene where he tells his son, he said, "Don't let nobody tell you can't."
You can't.
He said, "Not even me."
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I watched that movie to remind me, because I remember watching that movie the first time when we were at a low point in our lives, man, and struggling. You know, I'm leaving a job I used to work at a news station here in town. Everyone thinks it's like, oh, you know, it's a dope, it's glamour. It's not. You struggling just like the McDonald's worker. It ain't. It's all hype, you know. And it's like I'm paycheck to paycheck, and it's like everyone's like, he says in this, why is everyone just so damn happy, and I'm not, you know? And it's like you have to just go get it. And when I watched that movie to remind me of where I've come from, you know. And I like that what you said, man. Just let me, because that seriously reminded me, like, just don't let no one tell you can. Not even, I really say too, not even yourself.
Not yourself, man.
You know, when you're not used to success, you know, we're not used to like trying to, you know, improve yourself. Because again, you don't see, are you getting cold?
No.
Yeah, I was just like, because it gets cold in here. These students aren't used to that, man. They're just so used to disappointment after disappointment. That's, you know, it's like, you walk around a scared dog, they're just kind of like, just looking. You know, just, you know, it's hard to undo that, you know, and I love how you bring that to simplicity, man. I mean, what are your thoughts, man? Because you guys work together too, right? Do you go to his motivation, or you guys go to all?
You know what? I haven't got the pleasure of sitting in on one of it. I keep telling him I got to be at one of these coaching sessions that he does with these children, man, because it's amazing. He calls me and lets me know, you know, everything that, I mean, subsequent to having, he calls me and he's like, hey, man, I got through to these kids today, man. And I'm like, man, that's what it's all about, you know, because I mean, I've always had like a want to do the type of stuff he's doing. But man, this dude's battery is like, it's ridiculous, but it's so freaking inspirational, right?
That's cool.
You know, because I think one of the reasons why I believe in him so much is because of how much he believes in himself. Because you can have people. I mean, they got all the people in the world that believe in him, but they don't believe in themselves, and nothing gets done, right? And then you have people that nobody believes in them, and yet all they have is that belief in self, and everything gets done. And so I'm watching him, and I'm just like, man, you know, and it's easy to just sit back and admire the things that he's doing, because it is inspirational, and he has so much ambition. It's just you can't help but be inspired by it, right? And so, yeah, man,
that's cool, because I like what you're saying, man. Because like you said, you always didn't want to put yourself in front of the camera. You seem like a very humble guy, you know, and you know, what do you feel like you've seen your challenges, you know, promoting yourself? Because a lot of people can't just sit here and promote themselves like this. It's easy for me, you know, because again, I was a youth pastor. I was on stage. I'm like you, man. We communicate. It's easy for me, you know, and to talk in front of I used to dance and do a lot of cool stuff live on Great Day, man. Just TV. I'm the attention guy, you know. And so, but like you know, where do you feel like? Because that's a whole new world for you, right?
Yeah, it really. Well, I say like, what was it, about almost 6 years ago? I started a YouTube channel, And I just wanted to come on and then just address people and put out some words of encouragement and just speak to the people, right? And it was such a challenge for me because, and I think it has a lot to do with my childhood growing up and just being, it was somewhat of an abusive household, right? And so you're trying to do everything right so that you don't get in trouble, right? Or be ridiculed or, just made fun of. And so when I do a video, I'm trying to be a perfectionist, right? I'm just like, everything has to be right. And so I'm sitting there, that don't sound right. And then I'll delete it, you know what I'm saying? Start all over and start going again. And then, you know what I'm saying? And like, one thing that really resonated with me, something he says all the time is like, just be yourself, man. Just be yourself. And it is kind of, because who we are is like a conglomerate of all the people that you've come into contact with that made a significant impact in your life, right? And so you take on all these personalities that have affected you in a positive way, and you kind of become that. And so you're trying to maneuver your way through who am I? You know what I'm saying? We just talked about this earlier, or was it yesterday? I was like, man, you gotta introduce yourself to self. Like, hey self, nice to meet you.
That.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and just really get to know who you are as a person. And then once you start doing that, then you can work on the next step, which is to love the person that you are, become infatuated with the person that you are, and I'm not saying go like narcissist with it, but just really, have that belief in self that whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. You just got to tell yourself, the only person that can stop you is the person looking back at you in that mirror, right?
Man, again, we're going to take an offering. Because it's simple.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of these motivational guys worldwide. They just try to overcomplicate it, man. And my message to you is like, look, man, do it.
It's simple, very simple, man.
You can't overcomplicate it, man, because life in itself is complicated, But once you find that cheat code, once you find that, you start seeing it really like Neo Matrix. He sees it for what it is, and you tap into that. It's powerful, man, and I love how you say that, man, because again, it's yourself, because a lot of, I didn't grow up this way. I had to learn to be confident. I had to learn it, man, because I was told the opposite of your life's not, your mom's like, dude, you're supposed to be aborted. Tell me that. I'm 7, 8 years old. I'm like, what's aborted? And you hear stuff like that. And then as you get older, it's like the trauma that just triggers that, to sit there and have that. And as I think once I knew no one can do it for me, I had to do it for me is when I knew. And I was real careful about being bitter. I got here on my own, and nobody was in my corner, It's like, nah, man, I remember who I started with. I'm like, I put out this quote a while back saying, I'm going to remember who sat at the table with me, man, in my beginning days, man, and I'm going to keep them in my table.
Right.
And, to be where I'm at today, man, is a blessing. Be where to where we can sit here. I don't know how many times when I first started this podcast or with my buddy when we were on the other one, man, how many times I just don't want to put it out. Yeah. And here's like a good question, the next segue too, because one thing I was facing, man, is a double standard. I'm one way on camera, but off the camera, I wasn't that guy.
Right.
I didn't have an accountability in my life as a motivational speaker, as somebody that's putting this type of content out, being encouraging, being real, being authentic. Who keeps you guys accountable?
My daughters do, right? They remind me, like when I say something, it's funny because them dudes is a beast, man. They're 9 years old, already doing vision boards, already writing goals. You know what I'm saying? Just not me telling them to do it. They see me doing it, and then they do it. But when I'm in a mood, you Coach Cordell, you can't do that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? What? You Coach Cordell, you can't say that. We can't say Ken in the house.
Come on.
When I say it, they call me out on it. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she keep me. These dudes, you know what I'm saying? They always remind me of who I am. And also, we had this conversation, crazy brother. We had this conversation about staying authentic, right? And I remember I was on the phone with my nephew, and I was hyped. He's like, man, how you so hyped in the morning? I was like, man, I do this, I meditate, da da da. He's like, I didn't know you do all that. I was like, yeah. But I still can talk shit too, though. You know what I'm saying? I still talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I said, if I was walking around talking like Malcolm X, what would you say? You fake. I said, exactly. So I'm going to motivate you and talk shit to you too at the same time. So that's just me. Yeah. That's Coach Cordell. You know what I'm saying? So I have to, like, I don't think I can fake it, bro. Like, I've been around so many different, and what one of my gifts is, I can go around any environment, bro, and excel in that environment. Yeah. I've been to a quinceañera. How you say it? Quinceañera? Hey, I was in that thing turned up, man, right? I had the cowboy hat on, everything, right? The Walmart cowboy boots, I felt in there, right? The big buckle. And then I went to a multi-million-dollar house. One of the kids' grad party. I was in there, saying Coach Cordell, his parents, grandparents coming up to me, hey, thank you for doing what you're doing. My son really look up to you. And I took over that environment, still being myself. I had a conversation with his father. His father owned a packing company out here. The house is stupid big, right? And we having this conversation. I'm like, man, I love your house. You know what I'm saying? I love, your son is very humble. I would have never knew his son living in this type of environment. And he told me, I was like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? As this mental wise. He's like, man, I write goals. Like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? This is stuff I read about. So people actually really do it. He's like, man, I got long-term goals. I got short-term goals. I read them every single day. I look over them every single night. I do my affirmations. I'm like, so successful people really be doing this. Yeah. Where we be thinking it's so much bigger than what it is. At the end of the day, it's really taking care of your own self internally, right? Making sure you're motivated enough to go out there. But that's me, bro. I can go in any environment and excel in it, bro. Yeah. Like I'm gifted. Like I can go to the hood and be okay. Hey, that's a cool dude. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere I've been, I went to Mexico by myself, bro, for my birthday during COVID. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go celebrate me. Hey, I was in Cabo by myself. People was like, "No, I can't believe you went out there." And I met the DJ. I'm up there in the DJ booth having fun. No, it's just that's the gift that I have. And so it's like me being somebody else. It wouldn't even work, man. I wouldn't even feel comfortable doing it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
That's real, man. I like that, man. Because again, it sounds so. Again, it's different when you know about yourself. When you're fully aware of your capabilities. Because I walk into that type of environment too. When I first got my job at Channel 26, man, I'm meeting celebrities, I'm meeting politicians, and it's like you can't just sit there and be like, oh, so what are you doing here today? You know, who was it? Mitt Romney came. And we were all interviewing him. He was out over our Fig Garden Loop area. I was like, excuse me, Mitt. I just called him Mitt. I didn't call him Senator. He's just like got his attention. I was like, so what are you doing here today, sir? And just shut everybody down. It's like got his attention. Right. You know, Frankie J. I talked to Frankie J, old school guy back in the day. You know, I was like, what are you guys doing today, man? Tell me your story. Tell me, and it's like if you don't walk into that, man. I don't know. It's weird to hear this because I seriously, I'm like, you're like the bruh version of me, bro. It's like if I'm black, bro, this is my man. We brothers right now, man. I feel it's like I'm like legit. I'm looking in the mirror right now, man. And because that's what's inspiring. Because I checked out your website, checked out your Instagram, I checked out your message. It's like this dude is right up the alley where I'm at, man. This is how. To hear your story too, I mean, at least both y'all, man. It's just that's inspiring. Yeah. I love that about you guys, man. This pod is gonna be one of my. I mean, it's season 4, boy.
We starting hot right now. Starting hot. Yeah, for real. That's big, man.
Yeah, and you guys, what I love about it, man, it's just your message is real. That's it. Yeah. We live in a fake world. People cannot keep their word. One thing I love about you guys legit showed up at like 11:59. I'm that guy where someone says, hey, I'm going to be there at noon. I expect you to be at, because it's what you said. Yeah. I am if I said it, I'm following through because I am a man of my word. Right. And I saw you guys 11:59, we're here. I'm like, they're here. Let's go. Man, I love that.
Because our time is very it needs to be respected, bro. Mm-hmm. We don't have a lot of it. And for my brother-in-law, man, I just want to just give him his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because he's it was funny, you don't know this, but like I think it was 7. Like you and my sister been together when she was 14.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So they've been together since like 14. Me and my sister 7 years apart. I was 7, and I remember being around the neighborhood, and I used to call you my brother. And they thought Cassandra was the girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? They never knew that. Yeah. I was like, yeah, that's my brother down there. And then they was like, ain't that your sister? I'm like, yeah. But, you know, it didn't really make sense.
It's like, y'all dating? Yeah, y'all keeping it in a family.
You know what I'm saying? But I always just tell this dude, like, he was my best man at my wedding. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't know, like, we got a real, like, relationship. Like, we work together. And we can sit on the phone for 2 hours and just talk about
I can tell
everything, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so when I had this, when you say you can bring somebody, I called him right away. I'm like, hey, you coming on this podcast, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad.
Yeah, because I know this is one of his. I'm a brother where I know this is one of his fears. So I'm about to get you in front of your fear.
I mean, look at what he's staring at. Let me just say, as you're doing this, look at this. Is my man staring at. He's like. Cameras all over him.
All over there, right?
Go to camera 1, Laura. Look at that. My man's up there. Go to 6. Look at him. He's like, he's facing that fear.
You know what I'm facing it, right? So I'm like, man, you got your stuff going on. So I want you to be able to come on here and promote your stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yes, he's in the guns, but it's more than that, right? You know what I'm saying? He's it's not like he's out here just illegal doing it. Like he's really got his papers. He's really teaching people how to put stuff together, and this is his brand. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just he's out there just shooting targets. No, it's something he's really passionate about. So I wanted him to come on here and show.
I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you. Now, what's the name of your channel? Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was gonna say, man. You know, with him, like. It's just he's always gonna bring out the best version of the person that he's around, right? And so I got to give him his flowers, know, for that, you know. And then you talked about accountability, who keeps us accountable.
I need to hear that.
I just want to say real quick, like, where that camera at? Oh, there's right
6.
there.
Oh, look at he already calling out that camera. Let's go.
I just want to look into the camera, and the person that keeps me accountable is my wife, right? And I just want to say I love you. But you get on my nerves, right?
She's supposed to.
She is on it, and she's 100% real and authentic with any advice that she's gonna, but she's so supportive. And I just want to say that, she instills in me that I have to be accountable for self. You know what I'm saying? If any of this is gonna work, So I just wanted to say that, give her flowers and her shout out too. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up. I like that, man. Because again,
hold on. Where that camera at? He trying to outdo me. He just trying to outdo me. Hey, I want to tell my wife. You
really get caught up.
Thank you for supporting me, keeping me, at a level. You know what I'm saying? She's seen all the ventures that I wanted to go into. You know what I'm saying? And she supported every single one of them, but. She always tell me like you're supposed to be doing what you're doing now, so I want to salute you. You know what I'm saying? I love you and thank you for doing what you do.
My man's got put on blast. He's like, oh man, I get my daughters that love, but not the wifey. That's accountability right there, bro. He reminded you. Dude, I feel the same way because I look at what I do here, and I look at It's hard because I'm at this point, man. It's like, and this is no ego trip on me, man, because a lot of people know me. Hey, you're the podcast guy, And before it would go to my head when I was working in news, everyone's like, "Hey, I saw you on TV." Wifey knows. Every time we go somewhere, people know me, And so it got to my head, And so now, my accountability is my wife too. Right. Really is, And she doesn't get the credit a lot of times on the show, but I can't do this without her. We can't do this stuff without the wives, man. Because I feel like that would be a good segue too. Because I do want to promote your YouTube page and talk more about that too, man. But it's like before I was just it's about me, and my wife she's really behind it. She's been a stay-home mom since we've been married. You know, we went very old school, man. And so it is, you know, and so for her to be where she's at today, man, to see her excel in the business, to the family business, man, it's, you know, I had to learn it's not about me. And a lot of men don't do that. A lot of marriages don't survive because of these selfish men, you know, that just, it's about them, you know, and I'm guilty of that. So again, I can't point a finger with that, but like, this is me first. You know? So I love that how, you know, he's like, well, while we're at it, my man, where's that camera? Where's that camera? Where's that camera? I want to give my wife the love because, you know, that's hilarious, man. And I think, because one thing I hear between your guys is your dynamic, your relationship is, you kept saying, and you guys we were talking like this the other day. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah.
I love that because this is who you guys are.
Right.
It'd be easy because again, this is our first time ever meeting in life.
Right. Yeah.
And look, I feel like, man,
they know each other for a minute, man.
Legit, this is like my brother. Legit. Like seriously, man. And I seriously, man, I'm this type of person, you know, because I really shrunk down my circle like big time, man. It's like it was important for me to do that because so much wasted energy, time, relationships, man, bad experiences, man. And I had to shrink, you know, and it's like, I'm at a point in my life where I have some men in my life, you know, to keep me accountable, to tell me what I don't want to hear. You know, let me know where I'm being sensitive or I'm being selfish or I'm not on the right mindset, you know, and I like how you guys have that because one thing I look into more is if the individual's like just all flash, look at me, you know, this is what I do. And then after that, there's no relationship. One person I can't, you guys know that one American Idol singer, Ruben Studdard? Yeah. He came to Fresno one time and I think he was like at a church here. They're going to sing and perform. So we got like an exclusive, you know, behind the scenes on his tour bus to go interview him. In my mind, I saw Ruben Studdard, quiet, humble guy on TV, you know, just, you know, I was like, man, this dude's awesome, beautiful person, can sing. No sooner we got on that bus, we were met with all these managers, all these people saying, you can't ask him this, you can't ask him that, you can't him that. It's just all these rules, right? And we're like, okay, we're just going to ask him about him singing at this church. That's it. That's why are you here? Yeah. So we get there to him, and he had this attitude about him that he didn't want to be there. He was just sitting there, he had this disgusted look, you know. And my mind was like, you know that saying, "Don't meet your heroes." He's not my hero, but like, don't meet these guys, you know. And you know, so I learned then, don't expect these guys to be like who they are on TV. And I think that's who I've learned to be. Don't just be this same guy on person, you know, be this same guy in this circle. Because the relationship, again, the vibe and the dynamic I'm getting between you two is like, it's this type of conversation all the time.
It's my brother, man.
Man, y'all my brothers now. Man. You know, it's like legit. I'll keep saying this, man. That's a black version of me right there, my boy. Seriously, that's who I would have been, man. God was like, Jose, your name is not Jose. Your name is, I don't know, but that's you, you know? And I just love that, man, because I'm like you, I can connect in any room. I can go, you know, find the person that don't feel connected. Yeah. I look for them first, you know, and I've always had this feeling, man. Well, my mom died, you know, she was in Vegas. Her boyfriend at that time beat her like a man. And just had these contusions. The doctor or the chaplain told us, because we lived here in Fresno, she was in Vegas, so we got that call 3-4 in the morning. Told us what happened, and that feeling of being alone. You know, and I was like, my mom was alone. She had enough strength to get up off, you know, the bus station, or the Greyhound bus station. She got on a Greyhound bus. Took off. She died by herself on a Greyhound bus, going home. You know, and that feeling is like, I know her lifestyle. Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. You know, that was expected. But that feeling when no one's there and you're alone, and it's like, I hate that feeling. Yeah. Because I've been there before. You know, for guys like us that are aware of stuff like that, man, that's who I look for. You know, I look for those students. When I was youth pastoring, and, you know, I'm getting back into that vein. And, you know, my life has, you know, just a big shift, you know, especially doing this type of shows, you know, and I feel like that's why I'm glad you're here. Because our conversation, man, we're
just gelling, man.
Yeah, I don't think, this is all other perk. Legit, I think we'd be doing this.
Man, all the time, man.
Yeah, and then we'd be talking about, hey, we were just talking about the other day. It's just like how you guys do. I think that's cool, man. I love that. But tell me about your gun page, man. And, how long, were you in the military? Were you done anything? Or that's just really. Like a hobby?
Yeah, it's just a hobby. I just started the YouTube page.
What's it called?
It's only been about 2 months. It's called DNA Shots Fired. It's something that me and my son did together.
Okay, Laura, go to one and type it up there. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Go ahead, keep talking about it.
Yeah. So it was kind of my son's idea. His name's D'Angelo. I'm Angelo, and then we share the same DNA. So DNA. It's kind of a play on
DNA.
DNA. It's kind of a play on our names, right?
DNA what?
Shots Fired.
Shots Fired.
Yeah. And so it's fairly new. Like I said, I don't have a lot of content yet because it's only been about 2 months since I got it up. But it's something. That's it.
On the sub team.
Yeah.
Go ahead, talk about what are you main focus on the videos?
So the main thing is just being a gun enthusiast in the state of California, right?
Especially in Cali. Go to
California. I mean, it's
especially 3-shot.
With all the rules and regulations, and just I'm trying to show that you can still have fun, living in California, shooting guns,
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this then, man. Where are you? You're pro Second Amendment, all that type of stuff?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I'm down to get into that. Where you're at with all that, because I know they're trying to take it. Everyone's like, oh, the gun violence, this and that. And, it's like bring awareness to that. What are your personal thoughts on when they see gun violence and they need to take guns and all that? Is it the gun's fault?
It's not the gun's fault. These politicians and lawmakers, they treat it as though these guns are autonomous. Like they just get up, walk over to somebody and shoot somebody on their own, right? But it's the person behind the gun, and so I just think that there's not enough focus on mental health and things of that nature, really. And that's just, it's definitely not the guns. It's the person behind the gun. So
I mean, I like hearing that, man, because again, I'm pro 2A, man. I want to get like my CCW. I was going to go buy another Sportsman Warehouse, man. There is a big process on getting guns, man, the background check. So it's not as dramatic as these guys are saying. It's easy just to go buy a gun.
Right, no.
Don't get me started on this, man, boy, because I'm that guy too, and so, what got you into it? Is it just something like, hey, this is like what got you into it?
Yeah, I don't, I think about that all the time. Like, where'd this come from? Because like when I got my first gun was like before we moved to California, and I just got it for home defense. And in Iowa, the gun laws are extremely different. It's like it's the antithesis of what they're doing here in California, right? So you literally could go into you pass your test and everything, and then you can go into a gun shop, pick your gun out and leave the same day with that gun, right? Dang. And so, so in the beginning I just got it for the home defense, and then I don't know, it was like a couple, maybe, I want to say, because I got in a car accident, man, and after that car accident, it was just like something, I don't know what it was, but something in me was just like became enthusiastic about, let's go buy some guns.
Yeah.
Let's. And the thing I love most about the whole gun thing is just like building them. Like taking them apart and putting new parts on and stuff like that. Like I just built the AR-15 a couple months ago, and that was the funnest project, man, because I had never done anything like that before.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I think, just doing something with my hands, giving myself something to do, because I've always been somebody that wanted to work with these, and so I think that's probably, for the most part, that's
cool, because I'm they're just changing battery, dude. Yeah. But one thing I love about the that, man, is like, because again, a lot of people are just afraid of it. There is a really, what's the word I'm looking for, man? There's just a bad stigma on it.
Absolutely.
And it's like I'm not with that. I don't like these politicians that are just hypocritical. It's like they want to ban guns, but they got all their bodyguards around them that have
exactly,
guns.
Exactly.
Again, that's one of these things where it's like, be who you say you are.
Right.
Be who you are trying to portray. You know, I'm aware of the double standard. You know, I don't want to be that guy. You know, so man, yeah, we're at that point. You know, I want to get a CCW. My wife don't get a CCW because she has a Springfield XD and 9mm.
Do it now.
Yeah,
if you're gonna do it because they're coming out with new legislation where they're trying to make it so it's even harder.
Really?
They want to talk to your neighbors and all kind of stuff to see if you're somebody that can have a gun. It's gonna get ridiculous.
And that California,
yeah, right.
Never mind. I'll go there too, bro. You know, that's cool. I like that, man, because again, it's one of these things where again, if you find your niche, you can create. You know, nothing. Today's society, man, you can go make and do anything. You can make your own wealth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like I don't know, man. There's no excuse. YouTube has everything. Look at what you're doing with your YouTube. Yeah. You know, I'm definitely gonna be looking into that.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Definitely would want to. If anything, here's an idea. If you know anybody at a shooting range, you know, we'll go talk to them. We'll go interview them, do on a pod, and do a live interview, shooting, and training and all that, bro. I bring cool. this setup's portable.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, all these cameras I can take on location.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, bro, and we can record a live pod and get this same exact look, and that'd be dope. I think we can plan something.
Oh, that'd be cool. I appreciate that.
Just really bring awareness to people who are, you know, afraid of guns or feel like they should, and you know. And really tell the story that these media outlets aren't, you know, pushing one side, you know. I'm that guy, but let's kind of like flip it, man. It's kind of like where are you guys at with Andrew Tate? Are you guys fans of him? Or you guys know who about him?
Who's it? That sounds familiar, but I can't.
The Bugatti guy, you know, the guy telling me about. You guys don't know who Andrew Tate is?
The one that was locked up?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I think he's just. I don't know. He was locked. They locked up. I think everything he's doing is for
attention,
man.
I think it's a character.
I think it's a character too.
Yeah.
Because he got out of jail. He was walking around.
Yeah.
He was walking around with his shirt off. You just look him up. You know who he is, bro. Like,
man, that's crazy, man. Are you over on social media too all the time?
Not really. Man, YouTube is probably, and then TikTok. I don't even have a Instagram.
What?
Okay. No Instagram, no Facebook. What's the other one? Twitter. I don't have none of that.
Yeah, MySpace.
I plan on getting.
He said MySpace. I did. MySpace does that hit, bro.
MySpace is still on. I have a MySpace account.
That's crazy.
I haven't downloaded it. I don't have beats. You know, I guess that's for music now too.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I just you know throw that curveball. You know, what do you guys like doing? What are your favorite like hobbies? I mean. What do you like collecting? What do you guys just get to know you guys, man? What are your things?
Man, I'll be on the PS5 heavy. So So any kids, I'll be telling them, hey, Madden, 2K, whatever you want to do, I'll put it on you.
Call of Duty?
We on Call of Duty.
Say Call of Duty.
Hey, before we go, I want you to do a 1v1 with my daughter.
Okay.
On Call of Duty.
Okay, she don't want this work.
Bro.
This dude is comedy on Call of Duty.
So you have a Twitch and all that too?
Nah, no, man. No,
why don't you? I think you would blow up on that, man.
Dude, I be getting too mad on there, man.
He's just like, I'm gonna lose my salvation. All that motivation will go out the window. See, I'm trying to put it out there.
You get a whole other version.
Right, man.
You kill yourself, kid.
You killing me like that, bro. You know, I'm gonna live your best life.
Stay inspired,
man. For real. Well, yeah, man. We got. So I'll be on the game, man. Just back into the gym heavy. Just
where you work out
at Fitness Revolution.
Where's that?
It's right on First and Herndon.
Okay. Oh, you know, I know where that's at.
Yeah. So over there, and then so getting back into that, and man, I was just like spending time with the family, man. Just a lot of family things. We don't know too many people out here. You know what I'm saying? Because we all moved out here at the same time.
Oh, so okay. What made you choose Fresno?
Right? Because of them.
Yeah.
Because of them.
That sounded good.
Literally,
he sounded guilty. He was like,
my sister was like, hey, we moving to California, moving to Fresno. I want you to go check it. So my sister, his wife, we're close. Like, she became my mother through everything we went through. So we're super close. Like, you can't talk about me in front of her for nothing, right? She'll go off.
Back.
She got my back.
Bro, that's dope. Yeah. That's a good person to have right there.
So with her, she was like, we're moving to Cali. I want you to go check it out. So my wife and we came out here in November. And I was like, what? You know, November, it's cold in Iowa. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they ain't feel like this. Oh, we here.
Yeah, now.
Boy.
That lasted like 2 weeks.
That summer came and it was 110 every single day.
Yep.
I said, nobody said nothing about this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Why am I surprised?
Right, they didn't bring this up, man. So that's how we moved to Fresno. Mm-hmm. And like for people, man, they always ask me, what you like about California? And this is the opportunities out here, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people realize how much opportunities they have in this area, right? And just in California in general, man, you got people that's coming here all around the world just to go to Yosemite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if people expand their environment, just expand their mind a little bit and see everything you got here. I know it's high. I know it's expensive. I know it got all these laws, but you can become something out here.
Yeah.
And then move. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I like what you said, because you think about, like, you're making so much, or, you know, somebody that really hits it, man, and it's like a video game. You don't know how OP you are until you leave with the experience, right?
Yep.
You're like, man, I actually get to keep this money.
Right.
You know, like, I can't, I'm not just getting. Boy, we found out, we did our taxes, we found out how much we really had to pay. I'm like, man, I'm like,
it's extortion, man.
Yeah, Vegas. I guarantee. Was it Vegas, Miami? They have no tax, or Texas too, or something like that. I'm like, man, Texas. Just imagine if we lived there with that kind of money, man, we'd be popping. Man, it's like, just imagine when you leave with, like you said, leave. It's like, man, you're overpowered.
Right.
You know, it's like
you got your point here. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, so many opportunities here where you can make it to where you want to get to, then move around. You know what I'm saying? But like for me, I told them I'm taking over Fresno. I'm taking over Clovis. It's 32 schools districts in this Fresno County itself. 32 school districts. Man, I got a mentor, Kevin Bracey. He's out there in Sacramento. He make over $1 million a year. Yeah. Stand on the 99, just speaking, motivational speaking.
Bro, I'm trying to get in that.
Hey, I got you.
Let's plan something, bro.
I definitely, man.
I'm serious, man. We definitely can put something out there.
Put something out there. We already locked in. We're gonna be locked in. I'll get your number after this. We gonna connect it. We out here, man.
We out here, boy.
You know what I'm saying? So
I love that.
And then I got, Les Brown?
No, I need to now.
Okay, Les Brown, he's probably the Michael Jordan of motivational speaking. Okay. Right? You look him up, he's all over. Kevin Bracey Les Brown is Kevin Bracey's, my mentor, was his mentor. Mm-hmm. He came down here, was speaking, and we went out to eat, and he called Les Brown on the phone and put me on the phone with him. When you find your purpose, things start happening around you where it's like, okay, you on the right track. So I had a 15-minute phone call with one of the biggest motivational speakers in the world, where it's $150,000 for him to come speak for an hour. And I got to talk to him for 15 minutes. This man took my life story and turned it into a speech, bro. Like, he was like, tell me who make you, because my slogan is stay inspired. He said, who inspired you? I said, my grandfather. What's his name? Tell me stuff about him. He turned around and gave me a story like that was his grandfather. Wow. I said, you ain't no joke, man.
That's a gift.
He was a gift. You know what I'm saying? He was doing his little laugh and everything, but he's a very big, well-known motivational speaker, and that just letting me know, bro, you in the right path. Like, these doors don't open for people that's just doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Or aren't. It's just not like, it's fair here. You just, right. I guess I'm doing it.
Right, man.
So you're working to it. Yeah. You're working to that, man. Again, I think I've learned, one thing was about me, I'm not a master at anything, man, but I am a jack of all trades. I can do a lot of stuff, but I remember one time when I was in ministry, man, they wanted a drummer. I couldn't afford drums. The best way I learned how to play drums, man, is air drums. Just sitting there listening to music. But when you get on it, it's different now, Yeah. But I taught myself how to play drums. I taught myself how to play guitar. I taught myself how to do all this stuff. When I had a vision for this business, I had no idea how to use cameras, but I started showing myself. I was looking it up. So by the time I was like, I knew what cameras, I knew what I wanted to do. I was looking that up, studying it, looking at it, man. Not owning one single thing. When I could afford it, when I first bought my camera, I already knew how to use it. I already knew how to do it. You know, I was like, because again, ain't nobody gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
You know, so when this all came, everyone's like, yo, this thing's dope. You know, it's like, y'all don't know what I had to go through.
Right.
Everyone sees this, but y'all don't know, man. It's like
result. You don't see the process.
When I was listening to this quote of the day, he said, a lot of people come up to me and tell me they want to do what I do, but they don't want to do what I did to get to what I do.
That's so true.
Right,
man.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? The processes, and that's where we talk about right now as the generation now. Social media make everything possible.
Yeah.
They make you think that you can do it, get rich right now. They
don't
talk about the whole process of getting what you crawling before you're able to walk, man.
And so blink and be there.
Blink and be there. So that's what we're facing when it comes to speaking to this generation. Bro, that's not real life. 99% of everything you see on there is fake, bro. That you're seeing highlight reels of everybody's life.
Yeah.
I can be in front of a Lamborghini and be like, oh, look, I got the keys to my Nissan,
Yeah.
but you think I got this Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people be like, oh, man, congratulations. You got haters. You got people think no, it's a show.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We're actors, right?
Yep.
And that's the funny thing because we're actors in so many different ways, right? You be like, you at home, you being an actor. You in front of somebody else, you being an actor. So you're playing these different parts in these roles where these kids got to understand that's not real.
Yeah.
The females you see on there taking pictures, that's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They can take that picture and be crying right soon as they get done with it.
Yep.
If they don't get enough likes, they erase it and come back again.
That's real.
At the end of the day, it's like, man, like we said, it's self-awareness. Get that self-love. Once you get all that, them likes, it ain't gonna mean nothing to you, bro.
Yeah, and that's real. Because again, I mean, I think that's another topic, man. It's like, again, when these like I heard, Charlemagne said that, you know, money is the root of all evil, right? Now he says it's attention. Attention is the root of all. People are living and dying for that attention.
Man, attention.
If they don't get it, you know, they either self-infliction or it's just weird how people want attention now. This generation is just starving for it. And I think with this type of show, you know, I got worried about it. But then when I get on guys like you, just awesome people like you guys, man, that's what I want to promote. You know, that's who I want to show off, man, because again, people need to know about you.
Yeah.
You know, I've told restaurant owners, people need to eat your food.
Right.
You know, I told business owners, people need to buy your stuff. You know, I told artists and, you know, hip hop artists, people need to listen to your music. You know, and that's where I feel like when you don't make it about yourself.
Yeah.
That's it, man. I've learned not just to make it about me and try to get mine.
And that's one of the things too where our purpose is to serve people.
Come
right?
on.
So like when I'm searching for my purpose, right? Mm-hmm. Your purpose is to serve people, but you got to find your talent that's going to help you serve people even more and into a broader range, man. So we're all servants, man. We're all supposed to learn and give it to somebody else. And it's like a domino effect.
Yep.
Right? So like all the information people got, if you just, you know what I'm saying, give it, you can't keep it with you. You can't keep it with you.
Yeah, I like that because again, when I look at, you know, hard times that I face or things that I may or may not be in now, you know, my mindset now is like, I'm not going through this for me.
Yeah.
I'm going through this, man, to hopefully one day I'm gonna help somebody too. Yeah. You know, and I think that's why this podcast
and that 7th grade kid.
Yep.
Whatever you did with him,
yep,
you had to go through that experience to give him that experience. Like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you already doing it.
Yeah, his life flipped. And so again, I think when you're not selfish enough, even in your own pain, man, don't make it about you.
Right.
Bro.
Right.
You know, like you get these girls that break up in a relationship and they's like, I'm trying to find the best version of me. Like, I know you are.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but you're hurting yourself,
Yeah.
you know, so it's like trying to grab that attention.
Right.
You know, so learn to, I think I've learned to make a situation, you know, how do I girlfriend, but how can I help people now?
Yeah.
Not make it about everyone else, you know. But man, I love this conversation. We can go on for hours. You know, I do this thing at the end of the pod, man, where, you know, last words, last thoughts, somebody listening or watching, take as long as you guys want. You know, we'll go you, then I'll end it out. And, you know, someone listening and watching, man, you know, What's your message to them?
So my message for anybody that's just going through just life in general, don't know how to get out, depression. Just know if you wasn't meant to be here right now, you wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? If it's your good time to go, God would have called you up right now. So the every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to make a choice. The choice to be the same or the choice to make something, make a difference. You know what I'm saying, in yourself. But my biggest thing is self-love. You won't be able to really love yourself. I mean, love other people if you don't have that self-love. How can you love your kid if you don't love yourself?
That's right.
You don't really know the importance of the love, the self-love, and the character. Get to know yourself. Get to know yourself. That's the biggest thing I can give you. And I would like to leave people with this: program yourself before you get programmed. And in the morning time, sit there and meditate, man. Do journaling. You know what I'm saying? Do affirmations. I am this. I am this. I love myself. You know, I am a star. I am a king, like my queen. Like, tell yourself, have affirmations before you touch that phone. You know what I'm saying? Before you even touch that phone in the morning, look at emails, look at social media, make sure you take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself first. It's real big, and ask for help. Like, we can't go in this world by ourselves, man. It's 8 billion people in the world, right? If you're suffering, ask for help. There's people out here. There's people that's suffering with you. If we work together, you know what I'm saying, it become a son. You feel me? So, yeah, that's all. I'm Coach Cordell, man. Coach Cordell, stay inspired.
That's right.
We out here. We out here.
Yeah, real quick, too, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Hey, social media, you can find me you go to CoachCordell.com. You can go. This is where I like right here, right? I'm the humble going out the window. You Google Coach Cordell, I'm the first person on Google.
Let's go.
Right? Ain't nobody. I was on the third page, but now I'm on that first page. You know what I'm saying? So you Google Coach Cordell, or you can go to Instagram.
I'm with it.
Coach Cordell _27. YouTube Coach Cordell. You can go on Facebook. You go Coach Cordell. Yeah. So we got clothes. We got our clothing line. We got a Let's Go Bro podcast season 2 coming out.
Man, we didn't even get into that.
We didn't even get into that. That's
hey, y'all stay tuned for part 2 on this.
Part 2 on this, yeah. So
y'all get me on your pod.
Oh, definitely coming on there.
Oh,
definitely coming on there, man.
Let's go.
So we got you can find me on our YouTube on a cartoon. We got a cartoon on our YouTube channel, Coach Cordell. Also, we got I just dropped my book called Magical Mirror. You can find that on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. Just type Coach Cordell in there, the book to pop up. And the video game is on Google App Store. It's on Apple Store. You know, go and get 99 cents. You know, see if you can pass the level. I give you free merch, maybe $50. You know, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out here supporting the support. Whoever need to get supported, man, I'm here. Just reach out to us, and we do it, man.
That's right. I like that, man. What's your last words, last thoughts? And
this man's something else, man. Ever since that phone call with Les Brown, nah.
Boy, done lit a fire under this, boy.
Nah, man. But just really, man, for me, it's just when it comes to yourself and being the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, is just show up for self. Be there, you know. And he brought up something. He talked about the fingerprint earlier, right? And if you guys just take the time to just look at your fingerprint and just see all the twists and turns and, you know, the little avenues on your finger, that's kind of it's you know, tantamount to your path in life, right? Your path is different from anyone else's. You can think you're on the same path as someone else. I mean, like, you could be walking through a jungle, right? And you're on, and somebody's ahead of you in that jungle, but that person that's ahead of you passed the lion that's about to jump out on you, right? That makes your experience different from that person's experience that's on that, what you think is on that same path.
Boy, preach, boy.
Right on, man.
So with that being said, family, I'm just, you know, just really understand that you are different. You know, you're different and you have your own path to be on. So, you know, set out to conquer whatever it is that you want to do in life, you know, and be there for yourself. And that's all. That's it, man.
I like that, man. Tell everyone they can find you. I know. Well, Instagram TBD. Exactly. Look at TBD.
I do have a TikTok page, A Tahadari, and then my YouTube, DNA Shots Fired. So you can find me there.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, man.
I do want to say, I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, but I just wanted to thank you, you know, so much for having us on this, you know, this podcast. It's amazing, and there's so much power in that right there, family. Still here. There's so much power in that. So
thank you, man. I appreciate you guys' time. I know on this hot Saturday, you know, it's starting to heat up here in the valley, man. But I want to say thank you guys for your guys' message. You know, I think that's heavily needed, man. When the world is over inundated with information and motivation, you know, it's like at some point, how motivated can you get? There's no reason not to really be motivated. And then when you encounter your guys' message, then you actually put it to action. You know, so that's what I get from you guys is the action behind it. You know, talk is talk. Talk is talk. Everyone can be over motivated, but when you start applying it and living it out, man, that's when you start seeing the real, you know, just the blessings happen. You know, it can be monetary, but it can be mental, emotional. It can be everything, man. So I just want to say, man, you guys got my support, whatever you need. Appreciate you know, if you got an event, you got something coming up, man. You know, guys, I'd love to jump on both of you guys' pod, promote that, man, and really just put your guys' message out there. You guys got my support. You know, so I'm super excited. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Y'all, thanks, man. Just, again, season 4 is at where it's at. Season 4 is doing this thing. So, again, click the link in the bio. I'm going to have these guys' information all in the description below, man. Yes, we're on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you know, on Instagram, on TikTok. You know, I hardly post to Facebook. You know, it's like, I'm not trying to offend you guys, but man, Facebook is only for old people. Facts. You know, and I don't use, I have to check.
We love too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
For the kids.
Family on there, give it a family. You know, we got to make Facebook great again, but you guys stay tuned, man. Season 4 is happening. Got some awesome people on the show, man. Just, we're here to tell the story. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Let's go.
Peace.
Yes.